I am back to do a follow-up on this morning's learning time with baby. We did some stories, we did parts of the book song, we did letters of the name song, and there was a focus on letter recognition. So I focused on the letter A. I think it's in a lot of kids' names. Probably A is probably like the most common letter. So I did a focus on A so that I could give examples, well, so that I could teach the letter A, but also so that I could give examples and show you how I will be teaching him the letters. So these are little felt ABCs. I used to have a little C here, but it got pulled off or something. But I got these in the little $5 bins at Target. I think they were like $3, but they're felt letters, and I like these because they can feel them. They can feel the shape. You can set them around. They're kind of big. They're soft, so they're not gonna like hurt themselves. I really like these. Like I said, found them at Target. Been using them for a long time, so a few years ago. I don't know that they have them anymore. But so say I want to focus on teaching letters. One important thing to know is that you're always teaching all of the letters. I remember when my older kids were little, trying to do letters with them before they started school and thinking like there was this specific order that you should be going in, or letters that you teach in a certain way, or I don't know. I guess I just thought it was a lot more complicated than it is. So I want to help try and make it simple for you guys too. So you're always focusing on letters, like there's letters on my shirt. So if he's touching one, I'll just label it. There's the U. That's the U on mom's shirt. Or when I'm giving him one of these, a letter to hold on to or play with, I'll say like, oh, you put the A in your mouth, or I see you dropped your A on the floor. Just keep labeling. I would start with the letters of the name as far as like which letter, where to start. I would start with the letters of the name, but you really could go in any order. I mean, as long as you're teaching all of the letters eventually. The order's not super duper important, but if you want to know best practice to start, it would be the letters of their name. So anyone with an A named kiddo, this is the perfect video for you, because this is all going to be based on the letter A, which is what I focused on with Teddy this morning. So like I said, always label whatever, anytime your kid interacts with a letter in the grocery store, on a shelf, on clothes, around the house, they'll be posted. There's some letters and numbers on my microwave. There are some numbers on this, it's like a gas or electrician's magnet that's on my back door. It's just been there for forever. I forget where it even came from now, but there's letters on that, and their logo. There's print in the environment. So when the child interacts with the print in the environment, identify what they're doing. You don't necessarily want to start with what letter is that, because you want to always set them up to succeed. You don't ask them until you know that they know the answer. But step one is just labeling it yourself. You don't expect the child to know that this is an A. You're going to keep saying that this is an A until you're confident that your kid knows that this is an A. And that's when you can kind of back off, focusing on the shape and look of the A, because that's what this is teaching. Doesn't teach the letter sound unless you make it. I see you have your A. A says A. Now it says the letter sound. You add that every time. But to just start with where to start, what you're starting with, what it looks like. This is the letter A for a little Annabelle, or Ashley, or Aaron, or Alex. or anyone that wants to just go through letters in order, because really that'd be fine too. But so you're always teaching all the letters whenever they're around. But if you want to add a layer of intentional letter teaching, you could do the letter of the week thing. A lot of kindergarten does that. You can probably think back and remember your own, like coloring those the letter people. I don't know. Maybe they were letter animals, but I think they were letter people that had like arms and legs and attributes that were associated with the letter. But if you wanted to do that, you would have two weeks per year per letter. So that's what, 14 days a year where you're really focusing on everything that's all about, the letter A. That, I mean, by 3, they'll probably be pretty darn good at reciting them, especially if you're doing them all of the time with this layer of weekly focused, energy on a specific letter. Then your kiddo's gonna pick them up really fast. And then you're gonna add on the lowercase a. You're gonna add on letter sounds. You're gonna add on the A sign. You're going to add on eventually trying to write the A. So there's lots of layers that you'll continue to add to each letter until they are super duper fluent. But I'm just starting. I have a baby. He's not going to be writing these letters anytime soon. So what we are doing right now is reading time. That was an example of focused letter. I'm actually going to be doing T probably first. But T is a much less common first letter than A, so I figured doing A would reach more mommies or daddies or caregivers, whatever you are, people who do this with kids. Let's see. I also have the numbers of these, so we'll do focus numbers as well. But so say this is A week because I'm teaching A. I'm going to be taking my felt A with me everywhere that we go. Everything that we do, felt A is involved in some way, so that I can always have the opportunity to identify it, label it, model, knowing what this A is. I can also put it up, hold it next to, I don't think I have any on my shirt, but I can hold it next to another example of that letter. Oh, look, now we have 2 A's, 1, 2, 2 A's. Or, oh, look, now I see that you have a lowercase a. This is a capital A. Big A, little a, yeah. Whatever wording you're going to use, bring your A along. We're focused on A. I'm also, when I'm reading a story, definitely not every word, every page, but I will be pointing out, look, there's a big A on our story in the title. On the front cover, the title has the word animals in it, and animals starts with A. Actually, animals has 2 A's in that word. 1, 2 A's in the word animals. A. And then maybe now and then pointing, well, these are bad. When you have a font with this ugly typewriter A, skip over it if you can. If the kid asks, then obviously you're going to explain, but you're not going to be using this as an example of an A. So another reason I'm not super fond of this book. We also have, I was going to go on a little rant about my books, but I'll talk about that in a minute. We also have the letter cookie cutters. These, obviously, you can make cookies out of, but I like to do more crafts. We can paint and stamp the letter A. We can make A's in sand, or in edible sand, the ground up Cheerios or ground up something that if they ate it, it would be fine. And you stamp it into the edible sand or whatever. Use that A, put it places. I would also maybe get sticky notes with and draw arrows on them and put them like towards A's around the house, on the microwave, or where, you know, anywhere you can find an A in the environment. Put a little, like a sticky note with an arrow, or I know, you know those it's like, I forget what they're called. It's yarn covered in wax and they're bendy and you can like bend them and make things. They used to have infomercials for them. But if you have those, Wixie sticks or something, shoot, I don't know the name of it. If you happen to have those, I did for a while, those are nice because you can actually circle, you can use them to circle the letter and they'll stick to anything. And you can circle it rather than just pointing. But sticky notes and a marker is probably the easier way to go. You probably actually have that laying around in your house, but those wax things are cool. But you're pointing out letters in the environment, so you're going to have more opportunities to identify it and label it for the kid. Point to them, say it. It helps to, if you're going to do letter sound, have them look at your mouth. Or make sure your mouth is visible. Obviously, you can't have a baby do anything. They'll do what they want, but aim to display your mouth when making the letter sounds. That's probably all we're going to do focus-wise for letters, because it's the very beginning, so that feels like plenty. I'll be adding more layers though. Like I said, writing, sound, sign, all that as we get, as we've done letters a little more as he gets a little bit older. But that's what I'm going to do for letters. For his name song, as you guys know, Theodore is his name. He has 8 letters in his name, so we use for Jaka. For his letter song, I sing that all the time, all day. But this goes, this is just a name card from the Dollar Tree, laminated and cut out, and I wrote his name on it. You can get lamination at like, I don't know, Kinko's or Office Max or whatever, or the YWCA, if you call them, they sometimes will let you come in and laminate stuff for free. But I like to laminate them and then use dry erase markers so that I can always make all of the words rather than keep adding on to the words and then having to keep laminating more and more and more, and you end up with a stockpile of words. Now I have a whole bunch of blank ones. I'll probably make some permanent ones of his name just because those will be permanent next time I make some blanks, but this works great. And I would just sing, I would point to them and sing to add that next layer. So, and that's what I'm going to start doing currently. So I'm probably going to have a couple of these around the house so that I can be pointing when I have the opportunity. And it's just Theodore, Theodore, Theodore. And that's how I'll add the print knowledge to the song when I can. I'll still sing it without it too if I don't have it on me, but I'm going to put some of these around the house and add the layer of print exposure, letter identification. Now, about these books. So, I have 3 animal books here. My favorite being this farm one because it uses photographs. This is also a favorite though because of course it's a book about loving your mommy. Who doesn't love a book like that? I do like this one even though it is illustrated because they're very detailed, kind of fairly realistic looking, a little bit more relatable, this imagery. But as long as I have something that is showing the pictures, it's okay to have ones that are also illustrated. I mean, it's okay to have any book, obviously, but as far as best practice, you want to definitely have books with the photographs of the animals for the purpose of teaching animals. If you're like, I don't use this for the purpose of teaching animals. I use this because it's so cute and it's adorable. And then this is very, very basic looking animals. This definitely, if you were going to use this for teaching animals, they would definitely need to be able to be at a point where they understand that icons represent real things. Because this is not a dog. This is not the same dog as the one walking around in the house, right? This is a completely different thing. So they need to be able to understand that representation for this to kind of work for animal identification, which it will later, but not so much the baby. This is good for the visual stimulation though. So I let him hold on to this book a lot. I don't really do the words. I'm not gonna, sit here and recite each of these. This is a bird and a panda and a snail. I mean, I would, especially if you asked, sometimes I will a little bit, but I'm not using a book like this for teaching animals. I'm using a book like this for the visual stimulation, and to give him the opportunity to grab onto a book and like it and chew on it, and I'm not worried about losing this story. So good to have all of them, but for different reasons. So these are 3 different animal books. I kind of talked about this the other day, but I didn't have any examples to show you what I meant when I said photographs, illustrations, and icons, but I have an example of all 3 right here. Focus letter. I missed this one. It was under my stuff. There's an A book, so I'm going to use the A book during A week. When I'm focusing on A, I'm going to add it to it's going to be part of our daily reading, or every other day if it's kind of long. This one doesn't take very long to read, so I could easily add this daily and he'd happily listen. I don't know that there is a book on every single letter, but that'd be good. We'll see, I guess. But anytime there is a letter of the week and you do have a book for it, incorporate it. Pop that baby right into your daily reading. Because those are good to have. Let's see. I know there were a couple other, and I feel like there were a couple other things that I wanted to say. Oh, I have these letters too. These are kind of cool. They're big, they're flat. This was, I think, also Target $5 bin. They bend very easily because they're super thin. It's just like magnetic cardboard painted pretty much. But I'll use these, maybe put them up or something, and look, there's a G on the fridge. That it would work good for hide and seek kind of thing too. We'll do, when he's a little bit bigger, we'll do letter hide and seek. Like, say he's really good at A, but he needs to work on B, or we'll say G, we're going to work on G. So I'll say, oh no, the letter got out of the bin. Can you help me find the G? It's loose in the house. And we'll look and try and find the G, and this G will be somewhere magnetic. But there's also the felt G, or the cookie cutter G, or I could write a G on a piece of paper. Whatever G we're going to look for, because you could do this when you're out too. If you can just find a napkin, set a G somewhere with marker. But letter hunt is really fun, and it's also good. Say they really know, A, but they don't know G. We're gonna have a letter hunt of A and G, so they know when they know they're looking for 2. They know what 1 looks like, so the process of elimination is going to help them identify this and set them up for success by pairing it with something that they do know. Whereas maybe if they need to work on G and H, you don't want to pair G and H, because if they're struggling with both, maybe G and H, because they're kind of easy to differentiate. At least one's curved and one has straight lines. Or you can pair them all up by like letters. say that you, instead of doing one letter a week, you want to do two. You're going to do, you know, O and Q in the same week and talk about the differences. Keep pointing out the differences, O and Q, because those are commonly mixed up. Or maybe M and N, or A and R. So maybe you'll be making those pairings and then lump the rest together. But you could focus on letters that way too. And then you're having 4 weeks with that letter as a half focus. But pairing them with something that they know and something they don't know is going to set them up for success. You always want to set them up for success. If all learning times they're being quizzed and getting it wrong, they're not going to enjoy learning time. So you want them to tell you the letter, but you want to try and get good at not necessarily just asking. Pairing letters together is a really good way to do that. All the same things apply with these numbers. We're going to point them out. When we're driving, we see them on the streets. We see numbers or letters, we'll point them out. If we're walking, we could have focus numbers. I don't know that I even have a plan for teaching the digits necessarily yet, but I'll definitely be pointing them out in environment just like I would the, you can count them on the back. I love Target. I'll be pointing them out just like I would the letters in environment and when we're counting and things like that. Write them, you know, oh, I see that there are 8 letters in your name, and write an 8 and point to it. There's 8 letters. Count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 letters in your name. Cardinality, 1-to-1 correspondence when you're touching them. Throwing some math into your letter learning will be a great way to teach the digits without necessarily having focus weeks. But we'll see how that develops as I build onto his routine learning plan. Oh, my doggies. Let's see, that might be about it for my, I have a sticky note on my stand. I'm looking to make sure that I talked about everything I wanted to. Oh, 2 more things. So you can be using your felt A, say baby's not even like holding things yet, or say baby is like, for whatever reason, can't hold felt. I don't know. Maybe felt irritates them and that's all you got is felt. So you're going to hold it and you're just going to use it to point. You know, my A is sitting on your baba. Oh, look at my A on your baba. That's so silly. Look at this A of mine. It's on my head. Oh my goodness, what a silly A on my head. You can just narrate and not, if you don't want to give the letter, say you just have this magnets or something, you don't want to give the letter to the baby or the toddler, then you're going to just use it as a pointer. My A sees your baba and do it that way. That and letter back rubs. So once your child is to the point where they're kind of trying to make letters, you're going to lay down on the floor and have them use like a Hot Wheel car or a Blaze truck and draw the letters on your back. You can give them the example and have them draw the letters on your back, like, if they don't know it. If they do know it, then say, like, when they're really good, they can draw them and then you can have to guess what letter it is. But to start, you're going to show them a letter and say, all right, draw the letter A, and then they use the car and they draw the A on your back, and it's like a free back rub and learning time. So who doesn't love that? But that's it for my follow-up. This is a little longer than I meant it to be, but I'm trying to make sure that I am really explaining what I'm actually doing, what my intention is behind it, and what I plan to do going forward. I love that you guys are following with me though in this. I hope you guys are having an awesome time with teaching your babies, and leave me some comments if you have any ideas on things that I could talk about in future videos.